Dentistry ever make you feel like this on the outside? Trick question all the time, inside and outside. Just came from the gym. Dentistry, keep your sweating on the outside, you're crying on the inside. I'm here with my amazing friend, Dr. Ankur Gupta, who is hosting the Happy Dentistry Treat. I'm going to be a speaker. Chad Duplantis, Stephanie Mapp, and more. Ankur, welcome to Dental Nachos TV. Share with us, why are you committed to making dentists less annoyed, i.e. happier?
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Thanks for speaking at the retreat, and then also for having me on Nacho
Sure.
TV. Well, the reason I did the retreat was two. Number one is I I feel like even though I'm a somewhat nice guy and an okay dentist, which seems like a nice recipe to have a good career in dentistry, I really, really, for most of my career and still now, I really lack resilience. So I would have a bad day. Um, some element of my clinical dentistry or some element of the operations of the office wouldn't go my way, and it was just really hard for me not to take that home and have that kind of affect how I treated my wife and my kids, how
Yeah.
it affected how I slept, and that really bothered me. I was like, dude, even though the metric parts of running the practice are going fine, there's like this extra element of who I am that wasn't going fine.
Yeah.
And so for the last 10 years, I've tried to just really experiment with what I can do just in terms of my everyday routine, what I can do, what our team can do as our everyday routine at the practice so that we're going home kind of free of the overwhelm and free of the burden of just being dentists.
I love that. I
And
mean,
I feel
some of
like
it, I'll just interject is, it's so
yeah,
hard to keep things in perspective as a practice owner, juggling all of these things. Dental school does not teach it. And we talk about low grade fevers. You wind up having this low grade annoyance that you don't know always where know it comes from, how to deal with it. And I'm so glad we're talking about. I want Morgan to bring up your text code for the Happy Dentistry Treat. But I think this is an awesome why, Encore, and you're authentic to share it. Because why do you think that dentists aren't into sharing their problems with each other? Is it the competition from dental school? Is it, being isolated? You said you found this low low grade or maybe medium grade
mhm.
frustration and annoyance, and you wanted to solve it. Why? What do you think causes this throughout our profession?
So, well, first of all, I think that right when we finish dental school, if you're anything like me, there's an element of feeling like a fraud. There's like right away, you feel like a fraud because not every aspect of clinical dentistry is as it looks in a textbook.
Yeah.
Isolating and blood and spit and all of that kind of stuff. And you immediately feel like a fraud. You're like, dude, I just delivered that. And that wasn't as good as I would have liked it to be. And you start
Yeah,
to that like you internalize that.
for sure.
That's number one. And then there's elements of running the practice that make you look like a bad business owner. Not that you are. There's just some little ugly thing or some little disorganized thing about your practice that even though it's little, it's still difficult to fix because
For sure.
there's motivating your team, creating the right systems, all that kind of stuff. And so you feel like, God, I'm a fraud as a dentist. I'm a fraud as a business owner. And I don't like telling other dentists about it
Right.
because they all seem to have it all together. And so I think that low grade annoyance, you just keep on internalizing it. And now, you're middle aged, I'm middle aged. We're both like, all right, we either have a choice. We can either go in the direction of being miserable or we can go in the direction of being like really happy with our profession.
I love that, Ankur.
Um,
I read this. My friend sent me this article a long time ago, written by this guy who talked about his wife in a loving way, but in a caring way, but also in a frustrating way. She said, "My wife sometimes gets up and lives her life like it's her first day on the planet. She's upset that the contractors are late, and she gets so frustrated by life. And I just want to tell her, this is kind of the way it is all the time. Is there anything I can do to help you process it better?" And it kind of sounds like that's what you're doing for dentists. We have the issue, right?
yeah.
I believe this, Encore. Our patients would be horrified to know how hard we are on ourselves. Our patient who we're thinking about that filling that wasn't perfect, they'd be like, it's fine. I'll see what happens, right? Because usually it is fine. And then later, if you could fix it, just fix it, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know, you do a crown on somebody, breaks off at the gum line 2 years ago, I don't know, give them partial credit, redo it for free, do
Yeah.
whatever you want. It's not such a big deal.
Yeah.
So I love that you're digging into this. Let's move into the Happy Dentist Retreat. It's the second one you're doing. Tell us some of the details. You know, our dentists, they love details, right? So tell us the details. When is it and what are people going to learn?
Yeah. So it's July 29th and 30th. It's in Chicago. It's really close to O'Hare Airport. And it's a CE event. So anybody who comes, they're going to get their 12 hours of CE. But I think the thing that makes this a little different from most CE events is it's really, really tailored to happiness and health and wellness. So every morning we're going to have, on Friday morning, we're going to have a yoga class.
Cool.
On Saturday morning, it's going to be foam rolling workshop, mindfulness and meditation. And then a lot of even though there's some speakers that are going to be speaking strictly about clinical dentistry, a lot of the speakers are going to be talking about those experiments that I was just talking about, how we can change little things about our practice and our everyday routine so that we're just a lot less miserable and potentially a lot more happy as private practice owners. And the one thing I noticed about last year is that even though a lot of the speakers, we were speaking primarily to practice owners, the teams got a ton out of it. Like the teams that came, they got a ton out of it. They seemed to be really empowered with what they were going to do when they got back to work on Monday. It was really a successful event last year. And so I'm excited to do this again this year.
I love that. I think, there's a lot of cliches that, are jokes and not all of them true. But they say, it doesn't matter in a household unless the mom's happy. They don't ask about the dad encore. No one cares if that guy ate, right? Nobody cares. And I'm just joking. My wife makes me amazing food, but they kind of say, I grew up and, if my mom was not happy during the day, we were not happy, right? And she had a lot of stress and she did a lot of things. And that's like the practice owner. I think the teams want us to be happy. They just don't know how to unlock it. I mean, we got a lot of issues as dentists. So if we can incorporate the team and give them strategies to be aware of some of these challenges and how they can help, I think it's awesome. I mean, I'm going to talk about decision making, and I bought a second practice and I overpaid by $30,000. It's probably a financial decision that will cost me well over $150,000 of total earning in my life. Well over, right? Don't make that mistake. I'm going to tell you how not to make it. I work with a dual rep broker. I didn't have the right advisors. So I think that the fact you're bringing people to share this, you have an awesome lineup. Who else is going to be speaking there?
All right. So I'm excited about this. So there's you. There's Laura Mock. She's awesome. Has the podcast Love Your Practice. There's Stephanie Mapp. Stephanie Mapp. I know.
Stephanie Mapp is just a boost. Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah. And then we have Chad Duplantis. He has a Facebook group called Dentist in the Know. And he speaks a lot about clinical dentistry, patient experience, digital dentistry. We have.
Awesome. I guess you couldn't get his partners, Jennifer and Jeff, so you had to take Chad last. But that's okay. He's better than nobody. I'm just joking, but he's fantastic. He's done Nacho events. We've done Peloton contests. He's an amazing person to learn from. That Laura, Stephanie, Chad, fantastic.
And then we have a speaker. Her name is Shireen Washington.
Oh,
and
I know.
She's a bit of an expert with case acceptance, case presentation. She's going to be speaking. And then we have a speaker. We have a stand-up comedian who's going to be there.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Rodriguez. So on Friday night, we're actually going to have a stand-up comedy show. And then I wanted to make sure, because I was a new speaker not too long ago. And now I feel like I speak a lot. I do a lot of dental educating. And last year, one of the dentists who was a participant, she said she really wants to teach, and I wanted to give her an opportunity. Her name is Laura Kalatz, and she's a dentist out of North Carolina, and she has some really valuable things she wants to share. But she's just starting as a speaker, and I'm kind of excited about having the opportunity to give her the opportunity to speak to a larger group.
I mean, what you put together is fantastic. Now, so this is right outside Chicago, 20 minutes from the airport, July 28th and 29th. Amazing speakers. Awesome that you have things from meditation to wine tasting to comedy. That sounds very nacho-y, encore. A lot of toppings. I like that. A lot of toppings. What is the cost for dentists to attend this?
Okay, so it's $699 per dentist. And then the teams, Team members who also want to come, it's $299 per team member.
I mean, that's such
But
a nacho brainer cost.
it's yeah, I think it's pretty reasonable. But you nachoers who are listening, I think it's a 20% discount for people who use the happy code. There's
Nice.
a
We're gonna
happy
put that in
code and there's a nacho code also. If you just type in nachos in the coupon code, you get that discount. And so I wanted to make this accessible. It's very easy to fly in and out of Chicago.
Awesome.
I wanted to make it as easy as possible for people to attend.
Love it. I'm going to start kindly annoying people to come. This is what invest in yourself, invest in your own happiness. These are the things, Encore, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's getting people to meet out for drinks and food, you're glad you did it when it's over. You know what you say? I should do this more often. Well,
Yeah.
dentist, it's a lot of work to do this. Just make Encore happy and sign up now. Don't make them sweat till last minute. Don't say, I'm going to sign up to not so. This is not my first rodeo. I've heard that a lot. Morgan's heard that a lot. We spend so much energy and effort to do these things because we love it. You're going to transform yourself in a magical way, hearing from people. It's also what I find Encore is great is, and you're a speaker, presentations are great, but also it's the after the presentations. It's at the
Yeah.
lunches. It's at the breakfast where you get to talk to people. So invest in your own happiness. You've made it easy, Encore. We have a text happy code here, but is there a website they could go to if they're just listening in, they want to check it out?
Yeah. Okay. It's thehappydentistretreat.com.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to make it my personal mission, Encore, to kindly encourage a lot of nachos, especially in the Chicago area. You got no excuse. Bob D, Vivek Keenra, people in that area, just Chicago people, you just drive over from your house, right? If this was in Philadelphia and it was 20 minutes away, I'd have no excuse. So I'm so thrilled to be a speaker, Encore. Thanks for hanging with us here. Anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
No, that's it, Paul. It's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in person and having a great retreat. So thanks for having
Awesome.
me on.
Me too. Thanks so much, Encore. Morgan, you're good.
All right, cool. Did I do okay?